up? It's Paul from Guitar World, and today we're going to be checking out two new solid body electrics from Donner Music, the DST-600 and the DST-700. Both of these models are solid guitars for budget-conscious players, and we'll dig in on each one so you know which one is best for you. Let's check it out. So Donner Music has been around since 2012. It's a global brand and may have been flying under your radar, but they actually make some seriously great product for entry-level musicians and budget-conscious players. For example, this past year, they partnered with Jack White's Third Man hardware company to release the Triple Threat 3-in-1 pedal, which featured a distortion, an echo, and a phaser, and all for just under $100. Great pedal. I actually have one, I love it. And they also have a bunch of other product like the Circle Looper, which I also use religiously, and a bunch of MIDI pedals, and of course they have a Hush series of guitars that are great as well. Anyway, these brand new guitars are going to appeal to different kinds of players. Obviously the DST-600, which I have here, is definitely more for the traditional and vintage style player. And then you move over here to the DST-700, which obviously will appeal to a more modern metal or progressive player, those who love to play fast. So let's dig in on each one of these guitars and tell you all about them. They're really, really great, and they're both just under $500, so they're great for the budget-conscious player. So beginning with Donner's DST-600, as I mentioned before, this is certainly going to appeal to a lot of S-style players who love traditional aesthetics and that vintage charm that this one possesses. They do a very convincing job here of executing a 3-color sunburst on this alder body. It also comes with a maple neck, and this particular model, because it features a HSS configuration, this one has a rosewood fingerboard with 22 medium jumbo frets. Now, there's also a full maple neck version available as well, but those only come with 21 frets in keeping with that vintage build. You can see there's these vintage style tuners that they have here. They're okay, not great. There's a little bit of slippage, but again, on a guitar like this, usually I will swap out the tuners. But these work just fine. And then you're moving over here, you'll see, as I said, the 3-color sunburst is really well done, believe it or not. It's just, it looks cool, well executed. And then having this aged pickguard automatically adds to that, more of that vintage vibe of this guitar. So it really comes together nicely. Donner makes their own pickups, and these happen to be Donner's Tone Design Alnico 5 pickups with a humbucker at the bridge, and 2 single coils over here, and you'll notice that the pole pieces have that vintage stagger. 5-position switch here, and over here at the bridge, you can split the coils by simply pulling up on the tone control over here, and then bringing it back down for the full humbucker experience. Volume, 2 tones, just all the traditional type of wiring that you would expect. You'll also notice that the bridge is a 6-point tremolo bridge or vibrato with steel saddles. So this is a nice touch. It's really well done. So this is a real durable bridge. I don't have the bar put in, but I'll put that in later so you can see. And as you can see, it's a bolt-on maple neck, 4 bolts, just like a traditional S-style guitar. This particular neck, even though it's a gloss finish, and the same with the body is a gloss finish, you'll notice that this guitar has a real shallow carve on this neck, on this C-profile neck. So it's actually really easy to get around, and especially for players with smaller hands, they'll really appreciate the shallow carve on this C-profile maple neck. So you can see I can really just get around this guitar no matter what position. And you can see the carve, the profile is pretty universal. It doesn't get bigger as you get towards the body, pretty much stays the same. So nicely done. Right now I have a fairly overdriven tone on this, and you can hear that these Tone Design Alnico 5 pickups have a very firm sound to them all across each of the 5-way switch. You'll hear it as I turn it up. And of course, there's a little bit of the tone kind of changes when you lower the volume, and then as you bring it up to speed, up to 10, then it becomes more fuller sounding. or the treble frequencies start to come back. Drop, like the treble frequencies tend to drop when you come down here, but you'll hear that. Take a listen. So here it is, low, probably about 4 or 5. And then as I bring it up, you'll hear it starts to become has a little more of the brighter frequencies. And then when I move over to the single coils, you hear how they start to have that real single coil breakup and glassy texture. Take a listen. So. And here it is with the split coil. So all together, now let's hear all those positions as I'm playing around with the little backing track behind me. Here we go. That bridge humbucker is, and then how the single coils have that, that quackiness to them. Now let's hear the DST-600 on a clean channel, and these tend to have, of course, a little more glassiness to them, and they're much warmer, so check it out, starting with the humbucker. Now moving over to the DST-700, Donner definitely ups the ante with this guitar. This is definitely for more of the high-performance speed players, maybe even metal as well. Compared to the gloss finish on this particular DST-600, this one comes with the satin finish. And you'll see this is all mahogany construction. We have a mahogany body, mahogany neck with a speed C profile. So this is not as shallow as a DST-600, but it really is a nicely carved C profile neck. You'll also notice that this one comes with Donner's locking tuners with a 16:1 ratio. So it really keeps things locked down, so you probably won't need to change the tuners on this one. We have 22 medium jumbo steel frets on this particular guitar. And you'll notice that there's also the truss rod wheel is located here at the heel, so it allows you to get some quick truss rod adjustments to straighten out the neck or give a little bit of relief. This one, of course, has a 12-inch radius on this particular guitar, so it's a super flat board here, which allows you to really pull your notes up into the stratosphere. You'll notice there is a 2-point floating synchronized tremolo on a steel plate with block saddles. This is a really great tremolo system as well. Nicely done. Also, you'll notice on the back of this particular guitar, you'll notice this has some really nice contours, so allowing you to get up all the way up to the 22nd fret with ease, bolt-on construction as well. And then moving over, you'll notice we have these upgraded knurled knobs, which really feel great under your fingers, a 3-way blade selector switch, and these are Donner Lab humbuckers, and there's also coil splitting available on this particular guitar by simply popping the tone knob. So volume, tone, and then the coil splitting here at the tone knob. Overall, this is a more substantial guitar. It's just a little bit more weight, but it's not heavy at all. It just feels great. And this guitar really is just built for speed. Of course, the obvious difference between the DST-600 and the DST-700 is the headstock shape. Of course, this is more of that modern type of headstock shape, where the Donner DST-600 falls under that more, traditional headstock shape. So just a slight aesthetic appearance that changes everything on these guitars. So as I said, these are Donner Lab humbuckers. These are definitely high output compared to the Tone Lab Alnico 5s, which are at a medium output. These definitely have a little more power to them. And of course, it's nice to have that coil splitting option. So here it is on a clean sound, so you get to hear. These are very nice, round and full humbuckers. So here we are on the bridge. So there you have it. As you heard, these are just really nice sounding humbuckers, definitely more complex and just big and round, nice sounding. And they sound especially nice in that middle position with the split coils here. Now let's hear these humbuckers with a lot more gain. That's what they're made for, right? Here we go. For many beginners and seasoned players, the DST-600 and the DST-700 are solid choices for their upgraded features and inviting playability. Still, many savvy guitarists will want to add their own modifications along the way, or employ these guitars as solid backup guitars for any gig. Definitely check them out.